You can do it. The time is now. Let's get to it. Just believe. Just believe. Just believe.
In an ever-changing world, Life Changes Network presents the authentically entertaining voice of truth and inspiration. This is Life Changes with Filippo, with the always unforgettable, ever insightful conversations that captivate our fascination and insatiability for the inspiring moments of real-life journeys, as we, as one, strive for higher planes of existence and a better understanding of our true selves and the world in which we live. Always remembering, life changes. This is radio like you've never felt before. Good for all and all for good. And now your host, the MC, the master of change, Filippo Voltaggio.
Change the world. Change the world. You can do it. You can do it. Time is now.
Well, a happy New Year's Eve to everyone out there. Tonight is New Year's Eve, and we're actually recording it on New Year's Eve. And it's interesting because ever since I was a little kid, I always thought I would be doing a show on New Year's Eve. Of course, I thought I would be singing in New York while the ball was dropping. But, and who knows, that might happen, or maybe even something better. In the meantime, this is good. Our first ever New Year's Eve show and my very first ever performance on New Year's Eve. And it's very appropriate that we're talking about New York and the ball dropping and New Year's Eve, because our guest tonight has a really special plan for New Year's Eve 2013. And I think it's awesome that we're soft launching it tonight here on Life Changes with Filippo, together with Mark Lejour and Dorothy and with all of you. So let me tell you a little bit more about her, and then we'll bring her on in just a little bit. She is Malena Gamboa. She's a social change venture strategist, a business architect, and a new media expert. Malena is CEO and co-founder of Global Resolutions, chair and producer of the Midnight Rose New Year's Eve celebration. Now, that might be a hint as to some of what we're going to talk about. She also sits on the board of 2 nonprofit organizations focused on humanitarian initiatives and integral education in third world countries. Now, between 2002 and 2010, she's been really busy spearheading promotional campaigns for both small and larger boutiques in Los Angeles. She has also consulted and supervised on various on-air promotions for the NBC and Telemundo networks. And during this time, she led the development team of the first ever multicultural campaign for the 2004 Olympic Games. And in 2009, she launched the We on Earth, an environmental awareness e-zine, or e-zine, accompanied by integral informed editorial. So, as you can see, it's going to be a fascinating show, and just wait till you hear Malena when we come back after this.
Clean water is not enough. Reverse osmosis, distilled water, and most bottled waters are devoid of naturally occurring minerals. They are acidic, unstructured, and hard to absorb and rob minerals from the body. IonWay's ionizers produce a super abundant supply of powerful antioxidants in each glass. Ionized water has a reduced molecular cluster size and a negative charge, hydrating you up to 6 times better. Water from an IonWay's ionizer will help you restore your body to its natural pH balance, boosting your vitality. And ionized water more effectively flushes acidic toxins from within your body. Drink the healthiest water available today. IonWay's water systems, their water changes everything. To learn more about IonWay's water systems and how you can own one today, visit our website at lifechangeswithfilippo.com and click on our sponsor page.
True performance takes more than just working out. Every day we demand more from our body. But what does your body demand? Hunger is not your body's call for empty calories. It's your body asking for nutrients it's lacking. It's time to reward your body with Boku Superfood, made from the world's finest organic ingredients, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and essential trace nutrients, all developed naturally and organically from nature's most nutrient-dense foods. Boku Superfood is quite possibly the best thing you can feed your body. So listen to your body. Reward it with pure, raw, beautiful food. Boku Superfood.
You are listening to Life Changes with Filippo on the BBS Radio Network with your host, Filippo Voltaggio. You can visit us online via Twitter and Facebook and at lifechangeswithfilippo.com. That's Filippo, Filippo.
Well, this is Filippo, and I'm here with Mark Lejour on this New Year's Eve 2012, a New Year's Eve that a lot of people didn't think was going to come because so many people thought the world was actually going to end on December 21st. And so here, we made it. And what I anticipate is that maybe the world as we know it did end, and now it's time for something bigger and better. And, you know, Mark, I said that I've never performed on New Year's Eve before, and that's not true. I've actually sung on New Year's Eve. I've just remembered. And I've sung on Christmas Eve. But this show just seems like it's the start of something bigger than I even dreamed of. And it's about time for many reasons. You know, I was asked to do, well, I performed 3 or 4 Christmas shows this holiday in concert. And I started 2 of them by saying this. I said, I'd like to take you back to a time when Christmas decorations in the street and the stores didn't start until after Thanksgiving. Now, the audiences cracked up because, of course, those days are long gone. Because we all know Christmas is about is commercialized. So it's about buying things and cooking things and giving things, and not even for the sake of giving, but because we feel we have to and all of that. So people laughed because at least where we live here in Los Angeles, Christmas things started in the store, and I made note of this. I think it was either soon after the 4th of July or a couple weeks after, but definitely by August, because people need to start buying right away. And so people have been saying for a long time, the true meaning of Christmas has been lost. Well, I used to be concerned about that. I'm no longer concerned about the true meaning of Christmas being lost as much as now I'm concerned about what has become of people during this time, like what goes on in people's head and what happens. And I'll tell you, I was out by mistake on the eve before Christmas Eve, needing something, and I just should have stayed home because there was so much traffic where I went to go get what I needed, and so many people running around, and the hustle and bustle used to be fun for me. And now it was just seemed like craziness, people literally jumping all over each other, trying to get last-minute gifts, because if you don't have the gift tonight, then you're a bad parent, or you're a bad person, or you're not a good friend, or if it's not the right gift, so you're spending more money than you have, and you're doing things that under sane circumstances, you wouldn't think of doing. And so not only Christmas, but now New Year's. A friend asked me if I would go shopping with him for a shirt on New Year's Eve, for New Year's Eve, a couple days ago. And I did. And we literally spent a couple hours in a store until I said, we need to go, we're done here. Didn't find a shirt. And I asked this friend, why is this shirt so important? Where are you going on New Year's Eve? And he said, I don't know yet, but I have to find a really cool party because that's what you got to do on New Year's Eve. Didn't even have a place to go, and he needed a shirt. And then I was with one of my cousins, and her daughter was out shopping for hours yesterday for a dress. Now, she had dresses at home that she hadn't worn yet that were perfectly good, but it had to be a New Year's Eve dress. And when she came back with nothing, I asked her the same question. Where are you going? She said, I don't know, but we got to do something cool. I don't know what it is yet. But I said, really? I said, show me one of the dresses you have. And she showed me perfectly good dresses, but this craze that we've gone into. Well, that wouldn't even bother me as much if I didn't have this. Just read an email from a friend who wanted to share with me how he was in the hospital over Christmas because somebody hit him over the head with a glass coffee pot over a Christmas Eve spat. Just craziness. And then Mark telling me today that a good friend of his took his life over the Christmas holiday. And what are we doing to ourselves? What are we doing to each other? And I don't even know what to say. It's just that bad. And so I think this is one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about what Malena is talking about and we'll be talking about here about Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, and celebrating and resolving to do something for others instead of just ourselves, and not like buying a gift for somebody or something that somebody doesn't need, but actually doing something that'll change their life, maybe even change the world. Mark, I'm sorry about your friend.
Well, thank you, and I'm sorry, about your friend, and I'm sorry for anybody else that's been suffering through these holidays. And we do what we can to keep this show as positive as possible. But I think in order to really understand the power of what we're going to be talking about today, it's important to recognize, these realities. And this particular person is an ex-soldier or a former Marine. And so many of them are dealing with so much baggage from these wars, especially as the truth continues to come out, and they're having such a hard time reconciling their job, their loyalty, the programming over years of service versus doing right, wrong, why, for whom, etc. And so maybe for him, for your friend, and anybody else who has just kind of succumbed to the pressure of the holidays, given how you framed it. Let's have a quick moment of silence, and then we can jump into to Malena.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, and let's choose to make this New Year's the best ever.
Indeed, and actually we're choosing it right now. That is my resolution, and that is one of the reasons why we have Malena on the show. Again, she's a social change venture strategist, a business architect, and a new media expert. And she's got this great thing that she's the chair and producer of called Midnight Rose New Year's Eve Celebration. And as I see it, Malena, we're all going to be busy next year celebrating with you at the Midnight Rose New Year's Eve Celebration. Welcome, Malena, on the show.
Thank you. That makes me happy.
Well, this is a soft launch, as we talked about. So let's launch it off.
Okay.
Well, we're going to take a break soon, and we certainly got heavy real fast here. And when we come back, we're going to talk about exactly what the inspiration here is. But before we do, I thought maybe you'd have some words on what we just shared together, both Mark and I.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I don't. It's just silence falls upon me. It's everything that you've said. I agree with 100%, and it's really confusing. I think it can be really confusing with the media that's out there promoting a sense of joy that we're not really experiencing in our lives because we're caught up by these expectations and what they're supposed to look like in our lives. And I think it's one of the reasons why there's so much depression during this time of year. We reflect too much on where we fall short. And there's not enough media or enough invitation out there or inspiration during this time where we're all being bombarded by the trends of the holidays. There isn't enough out there to inspire us to do something really, really good that feels good to the soul.
Mm. And now there is, thanks to you and to all the people that are helping to put this together, and to more people that are going to be helping after they hear this show. Now, around this time, people like to talk about resolutions and what they're going to do different for themselves, like lose weight or stop smoking and things like that, all good stuff. And so Mark and Dorothy and I were talking about what we were going to do for this New Year's show, and was it going to be a show about resolutions, and we just didn't want to do it the same old way. And Mark says, well, then you've got to meet Malena Gamboa. And she's turned the I resolution, like the resolution for me, into a resolution for we. To find out what that means, stay tuned as we talk to Malena Gamboa here on Life Changes with Filippo on the BBS Radio Network.
Are you like many people who want to make positive changes and improvements in your life and in the world around you? Do you ever feel like there's something holding you back from achieving your true potential? Join Stefan and Shaylee Shifidel with the Tad James Company, the world's largest NLP, coaching, timeline therapy, and hypnotherapy training institute. Get ready for a life-changing experience that will give you the tools to transform your life through positive change and will help you create the future you want now. Their training programs are designed to provide you with the revolutionary knowledge, skills, and techniques necessary to effectively create long-lasting and life-changing effects. Discover more about neurolinguistic programming and timeline therapy at www.nlpcoaching.com or call 888-440-4823. That's 888-440-4823.
There are self-help seminars costing thousands of dollars guaranteeing miraculous transformations. There are compelling speakers and life-changing weekend experiences where you can walk on fire. They all deliver revelations that guarantee you'll come back for the more expensive revelations filled with even greater wonder next month on Fiji. We get addicted to positive, heartfelt, expensive theater. What we really need is a jumpstart, an awakening. Someone who can give us a reminder that everything we need lies within. Through inspiration and practical knowledge, Dorothy Donahue helps people get grounded and motivated, inspired and energized. It's not just words and affirmations and the power of intention. It's a mindset brought about by a tangible, transcendental experience, an audio-visual, physical, spiritual experience that helps us realize we transform ourselves. We get tools to become the conscious co-creators of lives of unlimited potential. Find out more. Go to DorothyDonahue.com.
You are listening to Life Changes with Filippo on the BBS Radio Network with our host, Filippo Voltaggio. You can hear tonight's show and all our past shows, which include luminaries such as David Wilcock, Mariel Hemingway, Georgios Tsoukalos, Marcy Shimoff, and Shadow Stevens on our archive page at our website at lifechangeswithfilippo.com. That's Filippo, Filippo.com. Remember, you can also connect with us via Twitter and Facebook, and now in our own community at lifechangesnetwork.com, where real people come together to share real life in real time. That's lifechangesnetwork.com.
It sure is. This is Filippo, and we're talking to Malena Gamboa, who's the CEO and co-founder of Global Resolutions. And Malena, before we talk about actual resolutions, let's talk about how you came to the idea of Global Resolutions. What was your process?
Well, it was a long time ago. It started with Millennium 1999. New Year's Eve in Pasadena, and wanting, desperately like you to, not desperately, but, I was really excited about the idea of going to New York, but instead I ended up in Pasadena. And from that time, thinking, why don't we have something like this on the West Coast? That was the seed, and I did do some research into it, but then I shelved it, and it wasn't until I began to experience my own development, my own transformation, and felt I really, really feel moved to do something to help, do my part, help create platforms for social change. This came about just through my volunteer work, and I think the impact that social media has had in our ability to see what's going on around the world and opening more to a world-centric view, and feeling, things really need to change. I came upon some information about water, which is what moved me towards making water one of my primary focuses. But you've got children dying every 20 seconds for lack of clean drinking water. And as I came upon that, I thought back to the 80s when we saw, the programs that were taking place, the music shows, USA for Africa, these beautifully inspiring movements to try to serve Africa and the poverty, how they were stricken with poverty and droughts. And I thought to myself, why hasn't it changed? It's been 26 years. Where are the solutions? And as I looked deeper into it, it just became very clear to me that what needed to change was pop culture. The chain of, consumerisms and corporations and carbon trails and the developing worlds that are most affected by it. And at the end of the day, it came down to pop culture and how we live our lives and how we're all connected, and the decisions, the choices that we make with our life affect everyone else on this planet. So that sort of kind of started the wheel spinning on how I can contribute by creating something with a collective of people to start nudging pop culture in a different direction, in a direction that would lead us more towards sustainability.
Wow. And so along with that, now we're circling back, it sounds like you're doing, to the original idea you had about the New Year's Eve event. How does that tie in?
Well, when you have New Year's Eve, and it's a time when people from all walks of life gather and they celebrate and reflect on bygone days, and significantly, like the hope for the new year, what they're going to do different. So whether or not you want to make a resolution, I believe we all sit down and think about what we can do differently to make the coming year a little better than the last. Particularly, obviously, if you had a really bad year, then you really think about that. And so I thought, well, here's a time when all of us really around the world, I would say even in China, because they are so influenced by the Western world, whether or not they're ringing in their new year or not, they are still influenced by the celebrations taking place around the world. So I thought, here's a time when we're all united in a celebration. It might mean different things to us based on our values, but we're all taking the time, we're taking the night off and we're celebrating the ushering in of a new year. So I thought, here's a time when we're all together. So why not just find a way to rebrand New Year's Eve so that it becomes a time, along with the hope that's already present, along with the traditions that are already a part of it, that we create something that just shifts its perspective to instead of making a resolution for myself, what if I make a resolution to reduce my use of plastic this year? What if I make resolutions to ride my bike more or to engage in more random acts of kindness? And how much more am I up to keep this resolution? Because I'm aware that I'm not just making it for myself. I'm making it because I'm participating, I'm doing my part to usher in a better world.
Malena, this is so important, and what we're doing here is so important. I'm getting a chill just listening to you talk about this, and one of the reasons is because, a lot of people say a lot of nice things about me, and I consider myself a nice person, but I never thought, I do things for others, and I'm, wanting to do more, but I never thought of actually writing down a resolution in the new year saying, this is what I'm going to do for somebody else. It thought never crossed my mind, and so thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're also a mother, and you have the heritage of another culture, and I wonder if that has something to do with it. I have to say that as I said this, I remembered a couple years back, I convinced my family to sit down, and it happened to be a new year, a new moon, and all of these things coinciding. So I said, let's write down New Year resolutions because it's the new moon and blah, 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 blah. And we all did it. And then I ended up seeing my mother's, and a couple of us shared ours. Ours were all about us, and they were nice things because what we do, it wasn't like I need a new car or whatever. It was kind of like, make more money so that we can do more good, whatever. But it was still about us. My mother's, none of them were about her. They were all about her children and her friends.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Yeah, I mean, as a mother, you are, always looking to what's best for your children. So that's definitely there. But what I look at is just that switch of perspective. And in that moment, just to be invited to make a resolution for someone other than yourself, you've expanded the consciousness right there. Just in that little invitation alone. Whether or not people choose to participate, the question is there, and it penetrates and it starts to nudge. So I think that in itself is significant. Whether or not we're able to follow through with our resolutions, I think the impulse and the intention is hugely significant in the vibrations that we contribute to the collective. The goal would be to have I Resolve come back every year and, make this an embedded part of our global culture from here on in.
Yeah, I resolve to see that for the world. I had a flashback just now to I don't watch as much TV as I would like. Frankly, I love the medium. There just isn't enough that holds my current attention, or it holds my attention too much that I don't get anything else done. But unfortunately, not for all the good reasons. It's kind of like watching a car wreck. Because it's like, really? People are really doing this out there in the world? And this conversation is reminding me of watching Paris Hilton shop. I don't know what the show was. It was probably on MTV or something like that. But it was like the whole show was watching Paris Hilton shop and leave stores with bags after bags after bags. And I thought, wow, how self-indulged can we be?
Right, and how much will it take to fill that? Yeah, fill that void. How much will that take? I'm a firm believer that service and doing for others is transformational in and of itself to the person doing the giving or the receiving or the acts of generosity. And what you're speaking to, I see is just a void that we're desperately trying to fill. And I think that, she took those shopping bags maybe out to started giving it away. She would actually feel a lot better about her purchases. And I'm not suggesting that she doesn't. Obviously, we're creating a story here that we don't know. But, it's definitely worth looking at and thinking about.
Malena, to your point, and that's a very good point, and I was going to add that I don't know her either, but I do know someone who does know her, and this person said about her that she's very charitable and that she does a lot for the planet. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but this person says that, and that she's a really kind and wonderful person. So it makes me question then, why is she doing this show? Because is the network thinking that this is the only thing that's going to get people to watch, and her doing her charitable works isn't interesting to the world? So I think you're right on it when you say changing pop culture, and by pop, you don't just mean pop, I think you mean the popular culture, the way we, as a populace, look at things, right?
Correct, yeah.
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 And so it is. And so with that, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about what it is that we could actually change. Like, what are some of the specific things that we could actually say and do and put out there? Like Malena says, sometimes it doesn't happen in a year, or sometimes we don't end up doing it because it doesn't sink in, but we're putting it out there. So what can we actually put out there this year as a soft launch to the Midnight Rose New Year's Eve celebration that we're all going to be at next year? What can we do this year? What can we put out there? And then what can we do this year to be a part of the Midnight Rose New Year's Eve celebration for 2013? So we'll be talking about that when we come back with Malena Gamboa here on Life Changes with Filippo.
Listen to these words. He would not be beat by forces too fierce for man, woman, or beast. As the going got tougher, his courage increased. It's a little story with a big message, a message that speaks to children of all ages. It's about believing in yourself, overcoming obstacles, and never giving up. It's been called a masterpiece, one of the finest children's books ever written, and a true children's classic. Shadoe Stevens has been called Dr. Seuss for the 21st century. His big little book, The Big Galoot, is a story about bullying. Bullying has become an American epidemic, and The Big Galoot talks about it in a way that will touch the heart of a child of 4 and a grandfather of 104. It's the story of a little boy with size 42 hands, the biggest hands anyone has ever seen, and the kids laugh at him. Then the laughter turns mean. They mock him and trip him, and much worse. But throughout it all, Warren Galoot says, "I'm a Galoot, but I have good luck. You can't get me down. I never give up." A second grader named Chandler said, "I thought it was the best funny book I have seen in my life." And we agree. Whoopi Goldberg said, "This is a great story. Bravo, Shadoe." The Big Galoot is available now as an ebook exclusively on Kindle Fire on Amazon for only $3.98. We strongly urge you to get it for your children, your children's children, or as a gift to yourself. Its message speaks to all of us. Have good luck and never give up. Go to Amazon.com and search for The Big Galoot by Shadoe Stevens. Life Changes with Filippo is a premier radio show presented by Life Changes Network, which is a company whose team has dedicated their lives not only to positive change, but to helping others observe and embrace, honor, and even celebrate their own changes, thus enabling a more positive, inspired life and helping to create a more positive and inspired world. From everyday people to corporate giants, celebrities, and children, we are here to help and to serve. With heart and experience, we bring our message and positive intent into your home or corporate office, and even through appearances on your favorite shows. If you wish to learn more about Life Changes life coaching and a private consultation with one of us, corporate event appearances, or if you would like us to appear on your radio or TV shows, visit lifechangeswithfilippo.com and click on our representation page. You are listening to Life Changes with Filippo on the BBS Radio Network with your host, Filippo Voltaggio. You can visit us online via Twitter and Facebook and at lifechangeswithfilippo.com. That's Filippo, Filippo.
Yep, it's real, all right. And here we are being real with Malena Gamboa. I am Filippo Voltaggio, and I'm here with Mark Lejeune as well. And we are talking about a specific event called Midnight Rose New Year's Eve celebration. You can learn more about Malena at globalresolutions.org. That's globalresolutions.org. Just as it sounds, you can learn how you can get involved or what activities will be happening throughout the year. And also, you can post eventually soon, your written and video resolutions right there on the website. Malena, one thing we haven't talked about is the actual event. What does this look like in your vision?
We're producing a West Coast New Year's Eve countdown event, a live event, and embedding the Global Resolutions or the I Resolve campaign as a theme throughout the evening. It would be a red carpet event. It would be with today's, thought leaders and celebrities and just a lot of momentum that builds up to the evening, a countdown event. The celebration would, benefit different causes or issues throughout the year. And it would honor individuals throughout the year that have contributed to making the world more sustainable or involved in, acts of humanity for humanity. Just there's so many people today doing incredible things. I think we're all very clear about that. So we want to take this opportunity to use it as a platform, very much like CNN Heroes, and honor individuals who have, contributed to ushering in a better world. The goal is to partner the campaign with its celebrations around the world and create a 24-hour feed where we are listening in on resolutions from all over the world. Looking forward to what that will look like. The invitation will be for resolutions that serve humanity and sustainability. So I'm sure we'll get a lot of, that's a lot. What does that look like in different parts of the world? What does We Resolution look like in Dubai or New Zealand or Guatemala, the European countries and out here? So I'm really interested in the metrics of that, measuring.
Good, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It looks good to me. What would be some of the resolutions that you could see people making, since we're putting it out there and some of us have never thought about that? What would some of those resolutions look like?
Well, I would invite people to start with the 3 R's, the reducing of plastic and recycling. And I, for one, have given up plastic bags. When I go to the supermarket, I bring my own bags. And that's something I think many of us are doing today now. But there are a lot of people that still don't do that. So I would recommend that be one. There are resolutions for greater acts of generosity, reducing our carbon trails, composting, resolutions to give our business to more conscious and sustainable businesses. To maybe even through social media to post and help create viral videos that are inspiring for good. We ourselves often contribute to rubberneck media. And so I've made it a goal to, only post and continue to forward media videos, viral videos that I think are inspiring.
Interesting. Rubberneck media. And here I was talking about watching television like it was a car crash, right? And that's exactly what you're talking about. Wow. Okay. So this doesn't have to be something like, well, I'm going to go feed all the children of Africa, because somehow we have that disconnect. As to what it is that only one person can do. I'm only one person. But already you're mentioning things that can only be done by one person.
Yeah, deliberately, because if we all do this together, we're going to make some really big changes in the world. So I believe the resolutions need to be attainable so that we can continue. And I think it's really just the awareness that we're doing something, that we can change this. We can actually do this. And I'm doing this not just for myself. I'm doing this for humanity. I'm doing this for the planet. The resolutions can be small and they can be big. I like, personally, when I'm successful at something, I continue to do it. And I am able to adapt the new pattern and the new habit a lot easier. But I think that the intention for me is to see what comes up for people. If I say, what would your resolution be from the I to we? I interviewed my co-founder and I grabbed a camera and went to a parking lot and started randomly asking people what their resolutions would be for someone other than themselves. And it was really interesting to see the wheels spinning and sort of like the doe eye look to them, right? And there's this nice gentleman who did finally. He asked me to give him an idea, and I mentioned plastic, and he said, well, what's wrong with plastic? So I said, okay, camera off for just a minute, and I had a little conversation with him about plastic, and then I said, obviously, if you want to do this, just say whatever comes to heart. And it was immediately plastic. And it was really great because he said, plastic, or, glass. Why not go glass? When I go to the supermarket, maybe I'll just reach for the glass container. It worked for us in the 70s. That's what he said in the camera. It was really, really cute. Wow. And I think it's just awareness and seeing that everyone is participating on some level. That's where the shifts are going to start to really happen for sustainability.
And I don't really blame people because, like we talked about, we're watching television, or these kinds of concepts are not on, but are hopefully becoming, thanks to people like you and us and so many, they're becoming more mainstream.
Yeah, I think so. I think media plays a really big role in it. I think we have the responsibility to create these habits, these patterns, this culture within our media. We're talking about, a global demographics with so many different levels of awareness. And so the goal for Global Resolutions in the Midnight Rose event is to be able to invite everybody at different levels and explore what that looks like to everyone. But the thing is when you bring everybody together, you start noticing what your neighbor's doing and what the resolution for somebody else is, and you start inspiring one another and maybe even collaborating.
You just touched on everything that you've touched on is so key, but just now that is so key that sometimes when kids pick on another kid, then in school, the kids that are doing the picking, if they're cool, then other kids want to be cool too, and they pick on the same kid.
Exactly.
Just to be cool, right? And so,
right.
Okay. So if picking on a kid all of a sudden becomes not cool, then we've just changed. We've done our job.
Yes. Exactly. Well said.
Okay, so what else? What can people do to do their jobs or do their part if they so choose to, besides going to globalresolutions.org and writing their resolutions or suggestions of resolutions, video resolutions, etc. on the website? What else can they do to support you and to support this cause?
Well, we're setting up a form on the website, so if anyone has, any idea, anything they want to contribute, we are open to listening to everybody. This needs to be a collaborative initiative, and I might be leading it for now, but I'm constantly have the door open because I don't have all the answers and I don't see everything, but I am open. We are open to making this a celebration for the people, by all of us to do this together. So there are strategies, and the forms are there. The invitation is open. We will read everybody. We will share with everybody. We will, see how many hands go up. And for now, I would just say also just go on there and make a resolution. If you haven't thought about it, take a moment, go on there, text your resolution. The site will be up and running tonight. And leave us your email address, and we'll keep you informed of the developments. I'd like to take this entire development for the year onto video and blog about it. And it's amazing what's going on right now. Staying open, and when I speak about the amazement, I'm talking about the power of social media and what we're becoming as a unit. And that's my invitation. Just the door is open.
Well, thank you for your door being open. Thank you for your invitation to all of us and for leading the way in this way. More power to you, and we'll see you there. What can I say? What a happy new year it is.
It is.
Okay. Well, are there a couple last words that you want to say? Or, we know what your resolution is to make this happen.
Right.
Okay, well, all right, well, we're done there.
Do you know what your resolutions are going to be?
No, I don't. I'm telling you, you just made me start to think. So I'm going to think. I'll have to send it to you.
I'm going to be looking for it.
Okay, very good. And I'm going to be looking for you, and we're going to be getting together, presumably a lot, and we'll see what we can do together. I look forward to it. We all do, actually.
Forward to it as well.
All right, well, hang on with us because you're going to hear Martha Zher come on here in a minute. We're going to say presumably some really nice things about you and what's going on, all right?
Okay.
So we'll be back with the producer's wrap right after this here on Life Changes with Filippo.
Are you achieving your highest potential? Do you know what that looks like? Louise Ashby Life Coaching makes it a mission to bring balance and abundance to every area of your life, giving you the opportunity to do and be all that you've dreamed. Anything is possible if you just believe. Contact author and motivational speaker Louise Ashby for your complimentary session and see if her individualized style is for you. You can email Louise at louiseashby.org. That's LOUISEASHBY.org, or telephone 323-592-3181. That's Louise at louiseashby.org, or telephone 323-592-3181.
There are self-help seminars costing thousands of dollars guaranteeing miraculous transformations. There are compelling speakers and life-changing weekend experiences where you can walk on fire. They all deliver revelations that guarantee you'll come back for the more expensive revelations filled with even greater wonder next month on Fiji. We get addicted to positive, heartfelt, expensive theater. What we really need is a jumpstart, an awakening. Someone who can give us a reminder that everything we need lies within. Through inspiration and practical knowledge, Dorothy Donahue helps people get grounded and motivated, inspired and energized. It's not just words and affirmations and the power of intention. It's a mindset brought about by a tangible, transcendental experience, an audio-visual, physical, spiritual experience that helps us realize we transform ourselves. We get tools to become the conscious co-creators of lives of unlimited potential. Find out more. Go to DorothyDonahue.com.
Life Changes with Filippo is a premier radio show presented by Life Changes Network, which is a company whose team has dedicated their lives not only to positive change, but to helping others observe and embrace, honor, and even celebrate their own changes, thus enabling a more positive, inspired life and helping to create a more positive and inspired world. From everyday people to corporate giants, celebrities, and children, we are here to help and to serve. With heart and experience, we bring our message and positive intent into your home or corporate office, and even through appearances on your favorite shows. If you wish to learn more about Life Changes Life Coaching and a private consultation with one of us, corporate event appearances, or if you would like us to appear on your radio or TV shows, visit lifechangeswithfilippo.com and click on our representation page.
Well, this is Filippo here on New Year's Eve 2012 on our way to an amazing 2013. We're back after a great conversation with Malena Gamboa. And this is our producer's wrap. And Mark, before we start, Malena offered me a challenge, and I'm going to start by saying that I do resolve in 2013 to be more vocal with my praise where praise is due. So I'm going to start my praise by saying, you were so right about having Malena on the show.
That's a great way to end the year and to start the new year.
Exactly.
And thank you for that. Yeah, it's so important. It's so important in all aspects of what she talked about. And as you know, it certainly resonates with all of us at Life Changes, but certainly with me. You've heard me a number of times say how I'm a we-inspired person in a me-driven world. And that's really the core of what she's talking about. But it's also that married with the whole idea of pop culture, of messaging. We call it conscious content sometimes, right? The idea of what people are watching, what they're seeing, what is inspiring and influencing them. And, you know, we don't put the two together. We look at, you know, we acknowledge what our parents taught us or what teachers taught us, and we hold those truths and live by those lessons, but yet then we go watch a bunch of garbage on television and pay no mind how that may affect us. Much less, without talking about the subconscious and the neurolinguistic programming and the fact that the subconscious takes all of this in and it doesn't recognize the negatives. And so, you know, the perception there, you know, you can't look at you can't not think of a blue tree without seeing a blue tree in your mind. You know, all of those things that we've touched on in earlier shows. But getting to the core of this message, we don't put the two together. So she's absolutely right. Mm-hmm. The need to change the way we do things is going to come from being in an inspired state in what we watch and in events that we participate in, hopefully or excitedly, the Midnight Rose New Year's Eve event, and certainly all the transformational events, which is going to be on one of our upcoming shows. We'll be talking about that and movements there and how that's affecting massive amounts of people. So such an important show, and so proud to know Malena and be a part of supporting her cause and resolving to do more.
Indeed, and I can't wait, and I just so wish it was this year already. I'm thinking, that I had plans to be away for New Year's, and then a family member took ill, and I needed to be with this family member, and so that situation is, I trust, getting better. But the point is that I am now, quote unquote, stuck without getting to do my plans, but with family. And I am experiencing so much joy in the process. This is exactly where I needed to be. But I bring this up because somebody in the family mentioned, oh, you know what? The kids are old enough now to stay up till 12 o'clock for New Year's Eve, and they'll get to watch the ball drop in New York. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. All the messaging, the commercials, and the kind, the drunk people in the street just woohoo, Happy New Year, saying absolutely nothing that makes sense, and the songs that are being sung by the artists, and some of these artists have some really powerful, wonderful songs, but I don't know that they're going to pick those on for this event. And I'm thinking, do we want the kids watching that? No, let's take them to Pasadena to see the Midnight Rose New Year's Eve celebration. If only.
If only. When only, and just soon. It's funny you said that, because one of the first things I said to her is, boy, I don't want to have to wait until next year. Can't we do a We Resolve right now kind of thing? And so we are, and that's what that blog's about, and that's what people need to do, is get out there, and I'm resolving right now to be more we first in everything that I'm doing. I really want that to be not a catchphrase, but a behavioral state that I live in.
And there it is. And, it's interesting. I talk about what we were talking about during the beginning of the show as well. I was having a conversation in these holidays with a friend who is in the business who didn't have enough money to get his kids what he wanted to get them. That he said, Filippo, what bothers me the most is that so-and-so, and he mentioned somebody that you and everybody on this radio listening would know. I helped so-and-so become as famous as he is. And then I left the business because I didn't like where the business was going. So he's doing something else because he wants to do good in the world instead of how the business was doing it. And he says, and so-and-so, even though I helped him, has become such a jerk and won't help people and won't help causes, and that I'm sending him. And he says, and people look up to him, and they have no idea who I am and could care less. And he could make a bigger difference in the world in the position that he is, and I can't do anything from where I am. And I said, and I happen to know he has a very loving and supportive wife, and that he's really close with his family, and that he's got a lot of love and a lot of good in his life. And I said, when the day comes that as a culture we celebrate what you have right now, that person will be looking at you and saying, wow, I have nothing compared to that. Just got to get it on TV.
Yeah, indeed. It's a repositioning of a recognition of what wealthy is. And that's, what came to me while you were saying that is the need going forward, really. And I'm thinking again about my friend's passing. I'm not going to mention his name because it's too fresh, but him, and gosh knows every other story on that side of the spectrum. The lack of nurture, the void, the depression, that exists for so many. We need to stop rationalizing and start actualizing. We need to stop rationalizing billions of dollars of cash in corporate banks. We need to stop rationalizing the survival of the fittest mentality. We need to stop rationalizing the spending of trillions of dollars on war, and yet the stat, I believe, is you can feed every child on the planet for $300 billion. That's one bill that gets passed every couple of months, the way the government's been working in one country. A subtle shift across the masses, and problems are solved. It's that easy, but it takes changing perspective. It takes actualizing, and it takes the desire to put others along with yourself in that view, and rather than putting we first.
Well, Mark, it is changing, and if anybody needs to know for sure if it is, all they have to do is look at Malena as a great example. Now, she works in the business. She's worked for NBC and Telemundo and still does. And she could do a lot more of that and be really busy in that world, make a lot of money, etc. She could even be on camera. She's so beautiful and talented. But she instead is dedicating her life to do something for others. What would make somebody that could make money or could have fame in an industry choose not to go there, but instead go someplace where she can help others? That means there's a shift. That means there's a consciousness. That means there's a heart. And she's connected to it, and so many people are connecting to it. And this show has certainly brought examples of those kinds of people. So I'm proud of what we're doing, and so I thank you, and I thank Dorothy, and I resolve to do more of what we're doing in 2013 in a massive scale, as Malena said.
Well, based on that change and those recognized changes, and you're absolutely right, it is changing. It's evident in so many random acts of kindness and so many stories around the world. This will be a penultimate year for the Life Changes team, for the Global Resolutions team, for what we can do together, and for so many other groups who we're working with. So Happy New Year, Filippo and Dorothy, and love you guys. Happy New Year, Malena Gamboa, and thank you all.
Yes, indeed. Happy New Year. And the new world that we all look for, it's here if you just accept it, or if you just look at it. And the more we look at it, the more it'll expand. I just know it. That's my belief at the moment. And so with that, I wish it for all of you so that we can indeed create it along with Malena and all these beautiful people who are doing amazing things out there along with us. So with that, I thank Mark and Dorothy as well for producing the show, and our engineer, Doug Newson, and all of you for being part of this new beautiful world and our new year together, 2013. Happy New Year, all. I'm Filippo Voltaggio. Besides saying Happy New Year, saying, remember, as life changes, we're here for you.
You have been listening to Life Changes with Filippo, with the Master of Change, Filippo Voltaggio. Listen live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the BBS Radio Network, and visit us online at lifechangeswithfilippo.com. That's Filippo, Filippo. Today's show has been made possible in part by our sponsors, Ionways Water Systems, Change Your Water, Change Your Life, and Love and Miracles with Dorothy Lee Donahue. To learn more about them, visit the sponsor page of our website. Once again, join us here next week as we consciously explore and embrace the only constant, life changes.
Now's the time.